Happy Halloween. I'm picking up where we left off from all those shorts. And this is the second part of the Castle Manor of Kingshaven. Silas sent his magic to slow the demon. It raged, tossed its head, then charged at Silas with vengeance. Silas careened across the floor, casting his enchantments to hurl random objects at the demon. It smashed through furniture and nearby art pieces with its axe. It breathed this fiery vapors wherever it went. Ezra's castle manor was being obliterated. Silas was cornered into a smoke-filled bedroom chamber on the upper floor. The demon held its axe aloft, grunting and bellowing its sinister laugh. It enjoyed the sport. Silas considered the limited escape options until he backed his heel into something beside the bed. A very full chamber pot. He raised his hand to the bed. Enwrap, blind, bind. Silas cast a spell to release the canopy, wrapping it around the head and arms of the demon. With a hasty leap into the mattress, Silas turned the chamber pot over the flailing demon's head. The demon let out a ghastly howl as urine cooled its flesh. The air filled with noxious vapors, and the bedroom chambers reeked something dreadful, as if a privy had exploded. Silas shot past the demon out into the corridor and slammed the door behind him. He cast a spell and bolted shut. Ezra staggered and moaned at the top of the staircase where Silas nearly bumped into him. My beautiful abode! What have I done? Silas, thou art alive, thank heavens! Silas slammed Ezra into the wall. Glad tidings! Dost thou wish for death? Silas balled his fist, ready to knock more of Ezra's teeth out. His knuckles ached and bled still, but he was eager. I beg thy forgiveness. The demon was Ithea's fault. It was destroying my home. I ne'er meant for it to harm any soul, Ezra begged. The axe broke through the door. Splinters shattered across the corridor. Isaac had better still be living, Ezra, or so help me. I shall have thee strung up by thy bollocks and fed to the bogey walls. The demon bellowed its hot, putrid breath into the corridor. The axe struck the door again, leaving a hole large enough for the chamber pot to fly through and smash against the wall. Farking Hades! Silas released Ezra and bolted for the staircase. The fire had grown on the lower floor. Silas choked on the thick smoke as he rushed through it. He collapsed at the base of the staircase. He heard Anseline call him. Silas, we're hither. He crawled past Ithea, who called for Ezra. Extinguish! Silas choked out the spell, then followed Anseline's cries into the foyer where she, her parents, and Isaac were huddled close to the floor. We can't open the door or break the windows, Earl Wexcombe wheezed. Silas again attempted to break the barrier spell that bound them inside the castle manor. When the demon's howls drew nigh, Silas fervently doubled down. Sweat soaked his brow. If only there was a way to get us to safety, Lady Wexcombe mourned. Safety, Silas repeated, and he reached into his pocket. He still had the wooden bird Sabina gave him. He held it above Isaac's face. What am I to do with this? And Isaac mouthed words, but Silas couldn't hear. It was at that moment Ithea was backed into the foyer. The demon was dragging Ezra unconscious by the leg. Is he dead? Earl Wexcombe asked. Ithea saw the wooden bird in Silas's hand. She grabbed him by the collar and with a wild blood-streaked face looked him in the eyes. Foolish man, hold the idol before the demon and ask thee for Farron to save us. What? He was confused. She ought to give him instructions. Tis our only hope if we are to live. Do it now, she urged. Silas held the bird toward the demon and chanted the words, Farron, save us. Silas felt the wooden bird vibrate in his hand. A spray of brilliant bluish vapors rolled out in a steady stream. The room became fragrant with the scent of flower blossoms over the smoke. Silas felt the brush of feathers and the beating of strong wings. Large bluish wings fan out to land. And when the wings drew in, there was a woman with 3 sets of wings along her back. Silas squinted. It was hard to describe what he saw, for she began to radiate a brilliant light. It was almost impossible to look at her. Silas shielded his eyes with his hand, and he saw the woman draw a sword against the demon. It came down swiftly, severing the demon's arm that held the axe. The axe spun away across the floor. Silas felt someone tug at his elbow. Back away, Silas. Oh, back away, Silas, Angeline cried. As he was caught in her open arms, she wrapped her fingers about his head and kissed him square on the lips. She made certain her parents saw them. Not that anything would stun them in this particular moment. The demon let out an ear-piercing shriek as it tumbled to its knees, causing the foundations of the castle to shimmy. Sizzling black ooze dribbled from the severed arm. Steam rose from the gash in its chest. The winged woman leapt forth. Her sword sung midair until it struck against something with a bone-shattering crunch. The demon lurched. Its head rolled to the floor. Silas and Angeline dove out of the way before its severed head bowled into them. It rested beside them. Its jaw gaped open, and its tongue hung out, slack and grotesque, from grimacing lips. Silas turned Angeline away, repulsed by the twitching eyelid. The body remained upright until it jerked and shuddered. It toppled forth. Black tar-like ooze seeped from the neck. Is it dead? A dazed Ezra stumbled toward the corpse. He kicked at the side. Without warning, the flesh split apart, and a horde of thousands of flaming leeches and centipede-like creatures escaped from within. They stung and sucked at Ezra, then found the others. Paralysis, disintegrate. Silas shouted at the horrid little imps. Ezra had taken the worst of the attack. Ithea hovered over him to pick each of the paralyzed maggot creatures from off his body. She removed Ezra's chain of finger bones and placed it around her own neck. Lovingly, she smoothed his hair. My poor, poor Lord Briggs. She kissed his cheeks, then hastened to leave the room. Silas and the winged woman, Farron, fought together to destroy the demon creatures. Then the woman began to speak in an unearthly tone. My time with thee is limited. I will take up all my strength to carry ye to safety. Mend thy wounds, and give unto thee the pollen of the blue flower. When as thou slumbers, dream of me, for we shall meet again. Her eyes twinkled at Silas like the brightest of stars, and she touched him on the forehead. Silas knew that she meant by the pollen of the blue flower. He had to do something, hold his breath, create a shield. He couldn't afford to forget what happened. Her wings extended with blue iridescent bands of light across each feather, enveloping the group like a mother hen gathering her chicks. Silas cast a shield around himself. The space around him became smoky blue, a smoky blue inner sphere. Around him, Lady and Lord Wexcombe, Angeline, Ezra Briggs, and Sir Isaac all fell into a slumber. Bluish feathers and flower petals swirled around them like a snowstorm. The sphere rose high above the smoldering castle manor of North Kingshaven. Silas looked within the sphere. Ezra Briggs' eyes blinked at him. He appeared to smirk. Silas needed to escape, to get away from him. He forced his way through the sphere, and he shattered a small enough hole for him to squeeze through. He began to free fall and plummet toward the ground below. In his descent, when he looked above, he saw the blue orb being carried gently by a large set of wings. Float, float! Silas belted his own spell over open air to sustain his life. He slowed his descent. The soft current of air gently guided him to the hill of the Graveswood, where he and Isaac had hunted the other day. The blue orb came to rest at the top of the hill near Silas, and he rose up, then inhaled deeply before he ran to meet it. Then he came to where it rested. Silas was winded. The winged woman was fading away, and Silas raced to where she stood. There was only a small carving of a bird, and when he bent down to pick it up, it turned into cinders and were carried away in the wind, a gift Sabina had given to him. Wait, tarry longer, Farron. He stood pleading with the wind. When shall we meet again? She was gone. He looked around. The Wexcombes, Isaac, and Lord Briggs all lay in a patch of blue asters. What happened? Earl Wexcombe asked. Cecily Wexcombe began picking the flowers. They smell so lovely, dear. Dost thou agree? Silas, Angeline asked, did we miss the coronation? I was supposed to sing, wasn't I? Isaac was crying. What hath become of my leg? Strathern, 'tis gone. Silas saw Lord Briggs rise up, and he rushed him, placing one hand on his head and the other on his chest. Do this not unto me. Do not take my soul, brother, Ezra pleaded. Thou hast no soul to take, Silas proceeded to disenchant Lord Briggs.